All right. To learn more about recruiting, we always go to Ryan Callahan with GoVols 24/7. Ryan, thanks for being here to talk signing day. You can tell how excited I am. It used to be that signing day was a big deal because this is when you get your talent.
Yep.
This is now you got people coming and going. And I mean, you've already got people hitting the portal from Tennessee and other schools. People are going to be moving in, moving out. You got another window, in the spring for more of that?
Sure.
They haven't closed that yet. You can't keep track of the NCAA's moving these windows like crazy, so you may tell me, no, let's move to August. But signing day, to me, it seems less important because so many people can come in at different times. That said, football fans still follow it like it's a religion. So that makes you our pope. So tell me, did Tennessee, we talked earlier this year, Tennessee had a chance to have a special class we talked about. And let's go ahead and put up the rankings here from 24/7 Sports. Tennessee 10th on that list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 7th in the SEC. Was it a special class? Did they max out and get what you thought they could get?
Did everything go exactly according to plan? Definitely not. They had a loss Sunday leading up to early signing day. Laganza Hayward, 4-star safety, top 100 player nationally, flips to Florida on Wednesday after decommitting Sunday, taking a surprise visit to Florida. So that didn't go Tennessee's way. You still might lose the guy who's technically in the class right now, Onis Konanbanny, a 4-star cornerback from South Carolina, originally from the UK. So.
And what's up with Otis? Where could he go?
Onis is looking at flipping to Florida as well, just waiting. He's not an early enrollee, so he has more time to play that out. Might bring his mom in for a visit from overseas. So, so there's still more time for that, but looks like he's not headed to Tennessee as of right now. So he's kind of artificially inflating Tennessee's team score for a little while longer.
Okay, well, there you go. So that still counts the commitments.
Yes.
Even though it's signing day, they don't just count the signees as they come in.
Yep. So David Sanders was still part of Tennessee's class even on Wednesday before he signed. So some things haven't gone exactly according to plan for Tennessee, but it's still a really good class, and I still think it's the best class Tennessee has signed under Josh Heupel to this point. So top to bottom, it's really good. This will sort of play into our next segment, so I don't want to jump ahead too much.
Yeah, let's not get into whether they're catching up.
But I will say the gap has closed so much between the top 10 teams that sort of twists how you look at this. The fact that Tennessee's 10th ranked class this year would probably have been good enough 5 years ago to be ranked 6th or 7th because there's so much quality top to bottom now that there's just not a huge gap between 1 and 10 now.
Okay.
Looking over at your all's publication and where the rankings are, and John brought it up 7th in the conference, but just percentage points off of some of these other schools, A&M, LSU. How fine is that gap? And when people say, oh, you're 10th, but you could easily have been 7th with one addition, one subtraction, the math on that for the people who are kind of the novices, where is that on the percentage points?
Yeah, so I don't want to get too far in the weeds because our team scores are tough to figure out.
Right.
I don't even know exactly how many points. You know, the number of points that get added to the team score based on each player varies depending on
it's all about the
factors.
rankings. Oh, 10th to 7th. Yeah.
But the team scores, looking at it, I went back and looked 5, 4, 3 years ago. There were some years that the gap between 1 and 10 was 70 or so points, some years 60 or so, some years 50 or so. The gap between number 2, because Texas is a little ahead of everybody else, the gap between number 2 and number 10 this year, about 25 points.
Wow.
So it's a substantially closer pack. So Tennessee, to that point, if they had held on to Laganza Hayward, they'd still be ranked 8th. They lose him, they drop 2 spots because of one player that dropped them 4 points. So it's a very close pack.
Stupid Laganza.
The talent's just being spread thinner than it's ever been, and that's why you're seeing so much parity in the college football playoff, so much parity. The transfer portal adds to it. It's just more competitive. So a 10th ranked class now is not what a 10th ranked class was 5 years ago.
You must have mentioned Laganza Hayward 5 times during our 14 Saturday kickoff shows when we would do the guys to watch. He was always on the, all right, going to have to hold on to him.
And it looked like they were going to hold on to him. And then Florida swoops in and makes a move late. So,
Bob, you got a question for Ryan? Quickie?
Well, this one just popped into my head because we talked about 2 years ago, I guess it was, NIL, it's going to change everything. You show that list of top 10, it changed nothing. I mean, am I looking at that wrong, or is it just, okay, same guys, same places, move up or down a few rungs, but it's the same people?
No, I wouldn't say that's wrong. Now, what has changed is, again, how much the talent is being spread around. Like we're seeing last year especially, programs like Missouri winning big-time recruiting battles for 5 stars and high 4 stars that never would have happened in the past. SMU is a program with a lot of resources. They're getting some good players here and there. So it's just everyone has the capability of winning a big-time battle now, and that wasn't the case. So that's the main thing that's changed. But the overall big picture view, I would agree hasn't changed much. It's the programs that are the haves are going to have the resources to go out and be good, and the ones that don't are still going to be behind a little bit.
So the big boys may lose one guy to a Missouri, and one other big guy loses a big player to Duke. But other than that, the big guys still coalesce most of the talent.
Generally speaking, but
it
it
hasn't changed much.
Well, generally speaking, yes. But again, like here's a good example. Auburn, without a good season behind them at all, dominated the state of Alabama this year. Alabama had a very good class. A lot of it was out of state. Auburn racked up the top 10 players in the state of Alabama. So that's the kind of thing that like little shifts like that are making a difference. In Florida, without a good season, decided to keep their coach. They make a late push, and they had a really good class. So things like that wouldn't have happened in the past. So NIL just gives you more opportunities for the programs that have all those resources.
And it all means so much when we hit the portal and we don't know how many of these guys stay or go. All right, when we come back, is Tennessee closing the gap? We danced around this one. Are they closing the gap on the big boys in the SEC? They have on the field, clearly, third in the SEC this year. But are they closing that gap in terms of the talent and the roster before we get to the portal? We'll look at 4 and 5 stars, the real blue chippers, the playmakers. Come on back.